Emmett, if you could put everybody on mute, we'll get started with This is the Day. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We've been talking about a little bit of a technical difficulty we've been having here. Phil can see us, but he can't hear us. But the good news is that we can hear him. So at the appropriate time, he'll be cueing us in for his wonderful talk. And maybe in the meantime, Emmon can kind of noodle on what's going on there on Phil's end that he can't hear us. So this is the day that the Lord has made, and how wonderful is that? I hope that's a song that you wake up to in your heart every morning and sing boldly and strongly. And so every Sunday we get together and we affirm our relationship to God and to each other by saying, whenever two or more are gathered in my name, I am there. I am there. Whenever two or more are gathered in my name, I am there. That Christ consciousness is within us, around us, surrounds us, and guides us. Use me, God. Take who I am, what I can be, and use me for a purpose greater than myself. And it is in that consciousness that Jesus said to pray like this: Our Father, our Father. And in those two words, which are the only words you probably need, he established our relationship to each other and to God, our Father. I am that I am. I am one with the Father, Mother, God. You feel that power? I invite you to say that. I am that I am. I am one with the one. I am, and you are, a unique spark of God. Like the wave in an ocean. There's no one else like you. It's pretty much a miracle, and it's pretty wonderful. So I'd like to start us off with a song. And that song is going to be hymn 190, Wonderful Words of Life. Isn't that a beautiful song with such great words? You know, if you need a Wings of Song hymnal, we will send it to you. Because one of the things that I think is really wonderful in this book is that there's these great songs, great uplifting songs, or songs of your youth. And I know some of you live alone. And if you get up in the morning and you pick up one of these hymn books and you just flip to a song and sing it, it opens up your vocal cords, but it also opens up your heart and it sets you forward to the day. I don't know if you've had this experience, but if I don't talk until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I croak. So, you know, start with song. It's just your little tip for the day. And now we're going to go on to that wonderful, wonderful daily word, that which binds us together with not just each other, but with people throughout the unity movement. Many people have come to unity actually just because they got the daily word. They didn't even know that the daily word was associated with unity until they found it. So today's daily word is wholeness. As a divine being, I am whole. I know I'm whole, wondrously made, and a unique expression of the divine. But I cannot truly know wholeness if I become distracted by an experience of illness or thoughts of lack or limitation. I do not resist limiting thoughts. Instead, I let the light of divine understanding dissolve the darkness of spiritual ignorance. Remembering the divine life lives as me, I affirm my body's wholeness, even if I am experiencing illness. Growing awareness of the limitless flow of divine ideas reminds me that I have all I need to experience a joyous, abundant life. As I say yes again and again to my true spiritual nature, my life becomes an ever unfolding demonstration of wholeness. And from Luke 11:36, if when your whole body is full of light, with no part of it in darkness, will be as full of light as when a lamp gives you light with its rays. So fill your body with light, for you are whole and you are a divine being. I was reading Emmett Fox this week, and he said that maybe they had this experience. Sometimes we doubt God. Sometimes we question God, like, why? Why? And maybe you've had this experience. Sometimes I even say, are you there? Why? But Emmett says, if we can pray, we have in that very active praying shown faith. And as Jesus said, all you need is a little faith, just the faith the size of a mustard seed, and God will do the rest. But just a little faith. And that's what happens when we pray. That prayer can even be, are you there, God? I need you now. But that's faith. So now to those affirmations that we say together and know at the core of our being. You know these affirmations, so I invite you to say them as I speak them aloud. There is only one presence, one power, one love, active in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. Can you feel that? Can you feel that stirring within you from deep within? core of your being, that one presence, that one power, that one light. I am here, Lord. I am here. And now for those people that we hold in our heart, that we love so deeply and so dearly, or for those that are hurting, that we read about or we see, we can encompass them in our words by saying and affirming for them, there is only one presence, one power, one love active in your life. God the good, omnipotent. And let's bring even more power to those words by whispering their names, by sending them those thoughts. And our dear friend Jack, we see you healthy. We see the COVID leaving your body quickly. There's only one presence, one power, one love active in your life. God the good, omnipotent. I think praying for others might be the greatest thing that we do. For it's beyond connecting at the human level. It connects us at the spiritual level. In our energy, our prayers move them. And there's only one presence, one power, one love active in this ministry. This ministry that seeks to bring us together, to lift our load, to lighten our day, and enlighten our lives. And there is only one presence, one power, one love, active in the world today. God the good, omnipotent. I invite you to see our world, that little blue jewel of a planet that's swirling around in the universe, filled with love. We bless our nation, our community leaders, and our politicians. We bless them as they listen and they open their hearts to right action. And we will align ourselves with God as we center ourselves in God and in the good. It's a nice place to be, here with you, centered in love. And now, my friends, I'm pleased to announce that next week we will have a guest speaker, and his name is Ruben Guzman. He's a board-certified lifestyle medicine professional. He is the author. He is an author, and he has a new book coming out later this year called How to Fully Live, a transformational approach to creating a thriving, healthy, happy life. He's a life coach that integrates medicine, holistic health, and holistic practices and affirmative thinking. So this will be great. This will be so interesting, and he's brought to us by our dear friend Esther. So thank you, Esther, for thinking of us and expanding our reach. And now, my dear friends, we come to our second song, our meditation song, which is hymn 89, one of my favorites, and I hope yours as well, In the Garden. Thank you, my friends. And now, as we get ready to begin our meditation, I invite you to stay focused on your breath. Maybe gently close your eyes or look down. And begin with a calm, restful inhale, followed by a slightly longer exhale. Inhale and exhale. I invite you, as you inhale, to breathe in gratitude and breathe out calm. Breathe in gratitude. Breathe out peace. Breathe in gratitude. Breathe out love. And as you breathe, let every muscle in your body relax, letting all thoughts go as you breathe in gratitude and breathe out calm. And breathe in gratitude. And now breathe out peace. And breathe in gratitude. And breathing out love. Today's meditation is on the 12 Powers affirmation, as it was arranged by our dear friend, Dorothy Pearson. In this meditation, we use the all-powerful name of the I Am, as we recognize that we are calling forth the full God potential. As we say these affirmations, we will focus on specific parts of our body. Associating the affirmation is a blessing for your body, as well as your conscious and subconscious mind. You might even want to put your hand in that spot or not. But let me begin. At the top of the head, I am faith. I am faith. I hope you're saying this with me. I am faith. And now as you move your focus over the left eye, right in front of your brain, maybe see it lighting up with a white light. I am will. I am will. I am will. And now, moving the focus, the light, the warmth, to the right eye, right in front of the brain. I am understanding. I am understanding. I am understanding. Now, right center of your forehead. I am imagination. I am imagination. I am God's imagination. Now to the back of your neck, right there at the base of your brain. Focus your energy, your attention. I am zeal. I am zeal. I am zeal. Now, the hollow of your neck, the root of your tongue, the root of your spoken word. I am power. I am power. I am power. Can you feel energy moving in your body to focus your attention? Now moving to your heart. I am love. I am love. I am God's love. Just beneath the heart, right at the solar plexus. I am wisdom and good judgment. I am wisdom and good judgment. I am wisdom and good judgment. Moving to the navel, the center of your abdomen. I am order. I am order. I am God's order. And now to your spine, from the base of your brain to the tip of your tailbone. See those vertebrae lighting up like pearls on a string. I am strength. I am strength. I am strength. And now to the lower back. I don't think it's a coincidence that the lower back represents renunciation, elimination, release. I am renunciation. I am renunciation. I am renunciation. And now, see all your organs that are keeping you alive and healthy. The lungs, the liver, the pancreas, the intestines, the stomach. I am life. You see that lighting up inside your body? I am life. I am life. And now bring the focus of your attention to the soles of your feet. And think of a spiral light beginning at the soles of your feet and coming up and around your body, wrapping your body to the top of your head. And speak the word, I am life, for your entire body. I am life. I am that I am. Say that boldly. I am that I am. God in me is I am. Now, Dorothy invites us to feel your oneness with all the universe as we declare, I am a spiritual being, living in a spiritual universe, governed by spiritual law. I invite you to say that with boldness. I am a spiritual being, living in a spiritual universe, governed by spiritual law. Breathe it in. Breathe the energy in. Feel it coursing through your body. Now I invite you to stay in this space of aliveness, of alertness. As Emin plays, one of Phil's wonderful affirmative, uplifting songs. Emin?
Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little
Can you hear
cell
me?
in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my
You can hear
body
me
is
now.
healthy
Okay.
and well. Every
Well,
little
dear
cell in my
friends,
body is happy. Every little cell in my body
somehow
is
this
well.
song "I'm a
Every little
Stranger in
cell in my
Paradise" was going
body is
through in my mind, and I found myself thinking, I'm a stranger in the world of computerization. I have no idea why today. Same settings always have, but for some reason, I haven't been in contact with you in terms of being able to hear Claudia. I do know, however, that she did a treatment of the 12 powers, and I followed that with you, Claudia. And it's a great gift that the Unity teaching has to give, an understanding of the 12 powers. So thank you, Claudia. Well, friends, I've really sort of wrestled with today's lesson because I think it's important, and yet there's so much to say about it. I don't know how to capsule it. I'm going to just go for it. Um, when you and I are in the process of thinking our way through our daily routine, there's one activity that I think most of us don't think as a part of a process that's automatic that takes place in our thinking. Let's say you're driving down the street in your car and your mind is taking in how fast you're going and whether you're staying in the lane and doing all that. But then suddenly you hear a siren and something you're aware of clicks in immediately and says, what's the meaning of that? Today, what I want us to think about is that that particular gift of consciousness that we have of meaning is a very critical part of a process that goes on for all of us all the time, whether we're aware of it or not. As we think about our day's routine, it is just automatic for us to go from dealing with our life in front of us to capture what's the meaning. You don't hear yourself say, what's the meaning? You just automatically go in assuming what the meaning is of the situation. Meaning is so important. And why I think wanted to share it with us today is because it's a critical aspect of all human beings as to what's going on in the world. Because it's, what I'm affirming is whether you're aware of it or not, you're attaching meaning to what's going on in the world. And so is everybody else around this world of humanity. Some 8 billion or 9 billion almost now. Why, everybody is giving meaning to what they hear is going on in the world. And what I'm wanting to affirm for us today is that we are blessed to be able to automatically respond with a conviction in ourselves of we know what the meaning is. Where unfortunately so many in the world do not know what the meaning is going on, and they just are filled with all sorts of concepts that are primarily negative about what's going on in the world because everything appears to be negative. However, it's critically important for each of us and for the world of what the meaning is we're giving to what's going on in our lives individually and in the world. I just want to affirm that as I do over and over, I give thanks for the unity movement. And it's not just, well, I'm a unity minister, but I'd like to say, I don't think it's just I'm a unity minister. If I had just discovered this, the unity teaching without being a minister or going on ministry, I would be so grateful because the unity ministry says to us what we're told by our Bible, judge not by appearances. Judge not by appearances. That's an absolute position that we are blessed as Unity students to be in. We don't judge by the appearances, which says right now the world is filled with so much negative, so many things are going wrong, and we sit on the edge of total disaster in terms of the intellectual appraisal of what's possible. And yet, it's so important to us individually and to the world that the meaning that we give to what's going on is this is God's universe and God is in charge. And therefore, I can know with all my being that all things are working together for good. And I know I've shared this with you before, but I find myself going back to critiques that I have sometimes of my spiritual position, and sometimes from my own family members who challenge the intellectual position of believing in God. And when I know whoever feels that way about myself or you, they base it on the fact of what generally people feel about what religion is and a belief in God. It's a God and some being somewhere that's in charge of everything. But in Unity, we are so blessed to be supported by one of the most intelligent people that's ever lived, according to most people's analysis. And that's the wonderful guy that given us so many things about what's going on in the physical universe. And my mind keeps giving me Albert Einstein. I wanted to say Schweitzer. Albert Einstein. I love it, and I know I've shared it with you before, but I'll share it again. Einstein has said, there is an intelligence that's obviously running the universe. I mean, again, when I think as people point the fingers, you say, oh, come on, you can't believe in that God. Well, there's no intellectual support for that. We've got an awful good friend in our friend Schweitzer, Einstein, who said very clearly, God is obviously, no, he doesn't say God. He just says there is an intelligence running the universe. We choose to call it God. And of course, Christians in general and many faiths call it God. But I like what Einstein said when he said, there's an intelligence in charge of everything. When we look for meaning about what's going on in the world, we either are going to stand with that, there is an intelligence that's in charge of this universe, which thanks to our acceptance of the life and the teaching of Jesus Christ, affirms for us is all good. We either accept that or we fall into pattern with so much of the world says the world is crazy, terrible things could be in store for us. Once you accept, however, that the intelligence of the universe, the intelligence that control the universe, or I like to give the wonderful analogy of how we got a moon. I've used this before, but I just love it. In the early creation of the earth, apparently we had no moon. And so it was either light or black. And so an intelligence said, we've got to give them some light at night. So let's create a moon. So as the scientists tell us, our Earth was hit by an asteroid, and that asteroid peeled off a part of the Earth. And that then became ultimately our moon that stays close to us thanks to gravity and gives us light on most evenings, as it did here last night with a wonderful full moon. So, do you think everybody is ready to follow our path when we say, what's the meaning of all this? And say, it's got to be working for good because God's in charge. No, there are many, many other sources to look at for meaning when people look at the world. One of the most famous was a guy called Harold Camping. I say he's most famous in that he jolted the world because he was quite an unusual character. He graduated from the University of California as a outstanding construction engineer, made a lot of money, had a radio program, Family Radio, which was a fundamentalist church, and they expanded that into something like 26 different churches. But he was a born again Christian and studied his Bible in the context of a fundamental view. And so this man, with all his 26 stations, lots of money, millions of dollars of money, he managed to convince the world. Literally, he had broadcasts going on all over the world. He bought sign boards all over the world. And in the United States, he had a host, not a host, squadrons of RVs with it written on the side. And what he wanted people to know is the reason we're having challenges today is because the world is coming to an end. I mean, he broadcasts this all over the world. And he, he, uh, he was amazingly convinced of this. And so that he put millions of dollars and all that effort I just told about, convincing the people that the reason we got all the problems because the world's coming to the end. So he set dates for this. And some of you who may know about this know that, of course, it never happened on the day he said. And then he said, well, that's just because they took up the very special people, and that was all done invisibly. So he set another date. And then, of course, that day came and the world did not come to an end. But the reason I'm making a point of this is that because people looked for an answer, what's the meaning of going on in our world? And in his time, there were challenges too. He provided a meaning for them, which said the world is going to come to an end. So, what happened? So many of those people around the world sold all their property because they were going to get as much as they could and use it as much as they could before the end of the world came. Well, that's a very sad illustration of my point. It's very significant who we look to for authority. Your whole life is filled with, I mean, if something's not going on in your body, whether you're looking to God for your healing or not, you may well look to an authority figure to tell you what's the meaning of what's going on in my body. So you go to a so-called expert, a doctor, and he tells you what he thinks is the meaning, and you say thank you, and you either have physical treatment or you go to spirit for your healing. But again, I'm affirming we constantly look for meaning in our lives. And most importantly today is, where do we look for the meaning of what's going on in the world? Well, in the brief time I have left here, I want to affirm something for which you know and I know, but I say it for all of us again because we need to live by it. And that is, the world is experiencing a host of amazing amount of negativity. We in our own country with the weather and all these conditions that are going on, it's all driven by one thing, and that is the power of human consciousness. As metaphysicians, we are blessed to know that what we think is not just encased within ourselves, what we think goes forth as energy in the world to build after its kind. So as people have looked at what was going on in the beginning, or threats that grow out of the governance of various world organizations and nations, and determine that that's not good, that energy goes out in the world and says, that's not good. And so the weather, the energy that builds our weather agrees with that. That's not good. And so we get lots of storms and we get rain and all the other negativity. It's only coming from one place. There's no devil picking on the earth or upon us. It's the result of human consciousness. So our work, beginning with ourselves, is to take time for our meditations in which we remind ourselves of what we believe, that there is no reality in negation or evil. It has its beginning with all of us, and I will not be a part of it. For I will affirm the truth I know. This is God's universe. God created it. God's in charge of it and is working through this and will ultimately turn whatever we're experiencing now into a greater and greater good. There's one other thing that I want to mention in terms of people turning to wrong sources for meaning. There is a philosophy called QAnon that some of you may be aware of. Uh, QAnon is a philosophy that's built up over the internet by a group of people who had it in mind to convince us of the purposes of QAnon, which essentially was saying what's wrong with America today is that the government isn't adequate to what needs to be done, and that we need to make a change in our choice of our particular system of government. And I was supposed to agree to the free enterprise system. And as some of you may know, they have discerned that out of the group who attacked the Capitol not too long back, many of them were followers of QAnon. I mention that again because people, again, who are sort of lost in the midst of all this negativity and say, what's the meaning? They become perfect recruits, possible recruits for philosophy. Says, I'll tell you what's going on. We just need to get our government straightened out here, and have invited many to follow them in seeking that end. But I don't want to pursue that any further except to say, again, that with that example and the example of Harold Channing that I told you about, it's easy to look to false philosophies or false gods when we try to explain what's the meaning of going on. I have really labored with this particular lesson because part of me just wants to shake me and shake you and all and say, we got work to do. We are blessed to know the truth. Certainly, it appears to be the truth, as I understand it, of the meaning. You and I are born to evolve, as all humanity is, into an expression of the God Spirit, as illustrated by Jesus Christ. And this is I started to say, a crucial time. It's certainly an important part of that process of humanity going forward to fulfill the ultimate goal, which is to live our lives. And I think I affirmed this last week when Jesus said that you can be like me. Yeah, that's ultimately what we're going to be. And so for us to be on that path, we must do our work. So I started to struggle with this lesson only because this isn't, hey, this is wonderful news I'm sharing with you. Take it, enjoy it. What I'm really affirming, we got work to do, dear friends. And we need to be very seriously involved in our regular prayer times to say, I do not accept the meaning of what's going on in this world as anything but a part of God's perfect plan of good for it. And I live and move and have my being in God, and therefore nothing but good can transpire in my life. And I see this for the world around me. Nothing but good can evolve out of present situation and circumstances to allow the continuing process of the unfoldment of the Christ spirit in humanity. God bless you, dear friends, today. I give thanks that the essence of our lesson is to bless us individually, to know all is right with the world. We pray in a positive spirit of that. And then we pray that humanity may come to this understanding and continue our wonderful evolvement to Christhood. God bless you, dear friends. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I love you all. And Claudia, I'm sorry. I don't know where the mix up is because I said I have all the same settings I had last week, but we'll find it. We'll meet you again, Anand. Bye.
Thank you, Phil. And Phil's a real trooper for hanging in there with us in a state where you don't hear anybody, but you know they hear you. So, thank you, Phil. And so now we've come to the time where we pull our consciousness in and think about our offering. So whatever form your offering takes, whether it's checks or electronic bank transfers, I invite you to close your eyes and see your cup running over. See your cup running over. And affirm, because we know the power of affirmations, affirm with me, I am prosperous. I am prosperous. I am prosperous. And in that prosperity, not to me, but through me, dear God, my prosperity overflows and blesses everyone who comes in contact with me. My prosperity blesses Capital City Unity and its mission, and its message, and its meditations, and our ability to gather here together to hear the words of truth. Truth, with capital T. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for your support. Know that the board appreciates it. We are blessed, and you are blessed. Tenfold. Thank you, God. Amen. And now, Ammon, if you could do Let There Be Peace on Earth, because I feel we need peace every time I can call for it. And then we'll go to the our prayer of the protection. And now, my friends, I invite you to unmute yourselves and we will begin the cacophony of joyous sound. We know that wherever we start, we'll all get there eventually. So let's begin with the light of God
God
surrounds us,
surrounds me,
love of God enfolds
holds
us,
us,
the
the
power of
power of God protects us,
protects us.
the presence
Presence
of
of
God watches
watches
over us.
us.
Wherever we are, God
God
is,
and
all is well.
So feel that, dear friends. Know that it to be the truth. Like Phil was saying, it's like that is the power of being centered, letting your light shine, radiating out love and wisdom. So until next time, I hope to see everyone next week with our guest speaker, Ruben Guzman. He sounds like a dynamic, interesting speaker and someone who's got lots to share. So we're looking forward to it. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. And
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa, for your effort.
God bless.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for sending it. And I'll be back next week too. We'll do this every week.
Great.
All right. Say bye, Papa.
God
Bye,
bless.
Jack.